Nice success stories, of course, in Erie County, the continued growth of Rosina brand foods. As the county executive, I've had the pleasure to sit on the board of the Erie County Industrial Development Agency as we've supported a number of projects associated with Rosina that continues its growth. So I want to thank everybody in the Rosina family for welcoming us here today. I've never been in this part of their complex. It's a wonderful facility from what I've seen, and I'm glad to hear they continue to grow, because that's exactly what we want to see in our community, is the growth of businesses and the strengthening of our economy. But that can only happen if we have a strong workforce that is working on behalf of those employers. And we know that that is a huge issue across the entire country, not just here in Buffalo and Erie County, but the issues associated with keeping their workforce as well as finding new employees is a big issue for employers everywhere. Doesn't matter whether you're at the west tip of the United States in San Diego or up in Maine. Is the same problem that's facing employers across the United States. And that's why we're here today to talk about a very innovative pilot program that the county is proud to partner with others to ensure that individuals who need to advance in their careers but often do not because of what's considered the benefits cliff have to stay in lower paying jobs or leave the workforce so that they can ensure that they can still get benefits like child care subsidy so that they can take care of their children or ensure that they themselves can put food on the table. We're joined here also, I'm going to talk a little bit and turn over the program to our Commissioner of the Department of Social Services, Marie Cannon, very soon, but we're joined here by two members of the Erie County Legislature, Legislator Joe Larigo, who I believe represents this section of West Seneca, as well as Legislator John Mills, who represents Orchard Park and areas south. So I want to thank the legislators for being here and supporting this program, which was implemented as part of our 2022 budget. For quite some time, we've realized that there exists what's often called a benefits cliff. An individual is working. They are not just receiving benefits at home and doing nothing. They are working in often a full-time job, but they're also receiving assistance, often through federal programs, through Erie County to assist them with child care, temporary assistance for needy families, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, which everyone understands or knows better is food stamps, Medicaid to provide health insurance. And they get to a point where in their careers, if they make a certain amount of money, they begin to lose those benefits. And the problem is the individuals cannot afford to lose those benefits because the benefits have a value to them that's greater than the raise or the additional amount of money that they will generate in their position. So we've seen this for quite some time, and we realize that there's something needs to be done to address this problem. So working with a number of partners, including the Buffalo-Niagara Partnership, and you'll hear from Dottie Gallagher soon, as well as the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, we've come up with a pilot program to try to assist approximately 200 households address this issue to see if it makes sense to help these people get through the benefits cliff so that they then can continue their careers, make more money, eventually get off of these additional services and benefits that they receive from the government, and that it would be more cost effective to assist them to get through the benefits cliff than it is to just have them either drop out of the workforce or not be able to advance in their careers. This is going to be a pilot program. I think this is going to be in some ways the first of its kind in the United States. And this is something that we are very proud to really kind of announce today. Before I turn it over to our Commissioner of Social Services, I also want to note that our Deputy County Executive, Maria White, is here, and Maria has been very instrumental in the setting up of this program. Truthfully, she should be talking about this more than I should be, because she spent a lot of time working with the partners that you see here to ensure that this program is run appropriately and that we work together to try to solve an issue which has vexed governments as well as employers for decades now. How can we grow our workforce but ensure that individuals have an opportunity to advance themselves without having to give up benefits that they need just to put food on their table or to ensure that their children are in a safe child care setting? I look forward to the results of this program. It's going to take some time. As we say, this is not, we're not going to know the answer to this overnight. It is a 2-year pilot program, but it's the kind of thing that shows what we can do in Erie County and Western New York. We can come up with ideas that hopefully, when the pilot program is over with, can be translated across the United States so that others realize that this program can assist not just hundreds of families in one county, but millions across the United States, and in the long run, ensure that those individuals have better lives through better careers that pay more, but also saves money for the taxpayer by reducing the amount of money that we have to spend on many of these programs to ensure that individuals can lead their best lives possible. With that, I'd like to turn it over to our Commissioner of the Department of Social Services, Marie Cannon, to go a little bit more into this program, talk about how Erie County Department of Social Services, and we have a number of their staff members who are going to be working on this program that are here right now, how they're going to play a role and what we can do to ensure going forward that we give everyone an opportunity to live their best life possible, and hopefully we become a bigger, better, stronger community forward. So, Commissioner?
All right. Thank you, County Executive. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. And so we just like to give some context to this. So LiveWellErie actually was started from the vision of our County Executive, Mark Poloncarz, in 2019. And one of the goals was that we actually addressed 3 populations: children, older adults, and working families. And one of the goals of LiveWellErie really was to help families have greater financial security. And so we had this amazing opportunity, and I do mean amazing opportunity. One, it is to help folks, our residents, reach their full potential. It is 2, to transform how workforce development is supported. And 3, it is a win, win, win. It is a win for employees and their families because they will have an opportunity to sharpen their skills, get into a career pathway without being thwarted by what the county executive has already talked about, the benefit cliff, and move to self-sufficiency. It is a win for employers because it is an opportunity to build businesses by investing in current employees, bridging the gap in the labor shortage by developing qualified candidates through upskilling. It is an opportunity to invest in their current workforce, which will enhance the retention. It saves on hiring and recruitment costs because it is more effective to be able to retain and develop and promote workers that are already there. It is a win for our community because we will have increased number of residents who are able to contribute to the economy. It supports economic recovery. Taxpayers win from a reduced cost of public benefits. We especially want to say thank you to the county executive because when he made these dollars available, he actually called Maria, the deputy county executive, and myself and said, we have some dollars. We want a anti-poverty program, and then we got together, Maria, Jackie, and we said, you know what, we really want this to be transformative because we do know in our communities we've had some anti-poverty programs that has not been as successful as they could be. And so we have been working through LiveWellErie and something called Upward Mobility. We actually applied for a grant, we didn't get, but the idea was there. So how do we really transform and support families moving to self-sufficiency? And Mark, you actually are right. This will be one of the only program in the United States. We actually have done some reach outs to Oregon and we've Florida and DC, and what we found that there were pieces of the program, but nothing as comprehensive as this. So this will be a one-of-a-kind, comprehensive, holistic program. Really, how do we support families moving from public assistance to self-sufficiency? So we want to say especially thank you to our county executive and to our legislative body who supported and approved the funding. And I got a promise that if this works, they will be looking to fund this as we go forward. So there is some pressure to make this work and be successful, but here's the reason why we really want it to be successful. We know at the core of this, if this works for families, we know that families are now on a trajectory to be safe, to have financial security, but not only the parents, but their children and their children's. Because now we're setting an example of what it means to go to work, the value of going to work, and being able to support your families. That's huge. So we want to also say thank you to our partners, Goodwill, Matt Urban Center is here, the Corinne Society, Elam Christian Fellowship, and UB School of Social Work. And the reason why we're using UB School of Social Work is because we're developing an evaluation piece to this. We want to know what are the variables that will help this kind of program be successful. And the other piece to it is to identify the policy, the points for policy advocacy, where we can actually advocate to the state and to the federal government to look at policies that are counterintuitive to people being able to move through a benefit cliff to self-sufficiency. So that's our goal. We want to know what are the pieces from a research-based perspective that will make this successful. And so you might be asking, what is the LiveWellErie Workforce Development Pilot Program? It is a holistic, comprehensive approach designed to help individuals who are receiving social services benefit. The county executive already identified them, Medicaid, HEAP, child care, and so that they'll be able to overcome the workforce barriers and transition into higher paying job opportunities. This program effectively brings together available workforce development community resources and supports them through a set of short-term upskilling opportunities by providing wraparound and supplemental services. So here's what this program looks like. We are partnering with employers like Rosina here, Buffalo Wire Works, Goodwill, well, they're one of our partner agencies, and other employers that the Buffalo Niagara Partnership are identifying who will work with us. And what they have to agree to is that there will be opportunity for career advancement. Buffalo Niagara Partnership has already done the homework on the 5 sectors where there are opportunities for career advancement, and then we're identifying the employers who will work with us, because our goal is not minimum wage it is jobs that can sustain a family. And so then they'll identify what skills are needed. We will support that. So we're working with other workforce development programs. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're actually leveraging the resources that are already available in our community, bringing them into a comprehensive strategic approach to workforce development. And then we know families need support. They're going to need 2 types of supports. One, that we're having career coaches who will help them identify the opportunities, help identify the training and the skill building that they will need. We'll help them identify with the employer what the employer needs. So we have one employer already who they employ some refugee and immigrant folks. And one of the things that they were saying they had trouble with is actually doing the math conversion metrics, and because of the language, so then we're able to help them have English as a second language support right on site. So here's 2 things. This is why this is huge. The person gets the training that they need. They get it on site, so they're not losing hours at work. The employer is supporting them, providing the training. We're bringing the resources on site so that that person can be promoted. So the other way that folks need support is because we're really asking people to take a huge leap of faith. We're saying to them, you're receiving a certain level of public benefits. We're going to assist you to manage that, and I know Dottie's going to talk about the benefit cliff when that happens. And the other piece is that people need, and we're using career coaches and life coaches, because we're asking people to take a huge leap of faith to say, I'm going to let go of public benefits and move through this track. And we've been doing some research. There are certain points where people begin to pull back and they falter and have some issues. So we've already built that into the program it's usually about 6 months, 3 to 6 months, because now they're doing something very differently that they haven't been doing before. They might be expanding their circle of support. Their circle of support might not be able to understand it. They have the issues around social determinants of health. So the innovation partners and our life coaches will help address. So is it housing? Is it more education? Whatever it is, our innovation partners will be working with the families, surrounding them with comprehensive support around the social determinants of health. And so that's that piece of it, the employer piece, the training piece, and the support piece. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop talking at this point, and I'd like to introduce Dottie Gallagher, who's the president and CEO of Buffalo Niagara Partnership.
Well, first of all, I want to recognize the leadership of the county executive and the leadership that the deputy county executive and Marie have put into this very, very thoughtful approach to really solve a systemic problem. So I'm going to talk in the lens of what is the benefits cliff one more time. So it's just in real language. It's a total disincentive to actually advance in your career, because the only financial stability many of these families have are the supports they get in their benefits. So if someone came to you and said, trust me, the only thing you can really rely on, just walk away from that because your life can be better down the road, it's very hard. As Marie said, it's a real leap of faith. And the cliff works in such a way that if you make one more dollar, you lose 100%. There's no smoothing of the cliff, which is really what there should be to create an incentive for people to actually invest in themselves. Employers see this and their work sites manifested in a way that you wouldn't think. They may talk to someone and say, I'm not interested in a promotion, I'm happy in my job. Or I can't work more hours, I can't take more overtime for some reason. People will trade hours to stay underneath the benefits cliff. So where that leaves employers is really talented people they'd like to advance, and they don't know why they're not advancing. And this is the answer why they're not advancing. So we started this work in conjunction. Deputy County Executive has been on our Employ Buffalo Niagara Task Force, where we really are looking at the workforce system. How can we make it work better? Brought all folks together, and one of the things that came out was this population of the working poor. And the working poor can only live if they have other supports other than their minimum wage job. That's a fact. So how do we unleash that talent in our community? I want you to think about this. Every person who says, I don't want to get more training, or I don't want a better job, or I don't want to advance, that's talent this community will never benefit from. And we need to stop that right now. So this is a very, don't quote me as saying this, media, ballsy approach.
They got it on camera.
Okay, you can say it. I'm from South Buffalo. That's how we talk there. But it really is, because what this is a demonstration project that says if you operate differently, you can get different outcomes. And in this particular approach, where the private sector is standing literally next to the public sector and saying we are going to work together to solve a problem for everyone, as Marie said, win-win-win, we've got to try. And so this demonstration project and having you be validated really is going to give me the ammunition I need to be able to advocate for changes in policy that will incentivize people to build a better life where they can buy a home. This is not just about self-sufficiency. This is about true economic mobility, right, Marie? I mean, we want people to buy houses, buy cars, and really be able to send their kids to whatever they want to do for their children.
Buy more Rosina products.
Buy more. Exactly. Buy more Rosina. So anyway, it's going to take us a couple years, but the thoughtful approach has been, let's pick a group, let's pick a couple really great employers who really support their folks. Let's figure out training that we can do in a relatively short period of time that will help that person cross the bridge to prosperity in about 2 years. Some of the, to be perfectly honest, that's hard to find people that with that little bit of extra training can make that big of a leap. If you go onto our website, thepartnership.org, anybody can run a calculation on the benefits cliff calculator, which was developed at our urging with the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. We are one of a handful of communities that have this. Has our jobs, their salaries, the supports that we have here. You can go in and you can say, I'm a single parent, I've got 2 kids, I'm these ages, this is my job now, and this is the job I want to be. Where am I going to hit the benefits cliff? And really be able to quantify, not as a theoretical, but a real person in a real situation, how we're going to help that person cross the bridge to prosperity for the future. And as Marie very aptly pointed out, everybody wins. Employers get the talent, taxpayers save money, these people get real economic mobility, and we change families. So I'm excited to be in this partnership with such committed people. I just wish Marie was a little more enthusiastic, because that would, you know, if she had a little more passion, we'd be really rocking and rolling. No, in all seriousness, I really do want to thank you, Marie, for your thoughtful leadership in this, and I'm super encouraged to have this opportunity with all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dottie. So our next speaker will be John Zimmerman, who is the Senior Vice President here at Rosina Food Products. Thank you, John.
Well, I'll use Dottie's words, if I may, County Executive, ballsy. I really think this program, first of all, I want to thank Frank Corrigan for being here, along with Russ could not be here today, but wanted to thank County Executive Poncars for coming here to Rosina to announce this program. You've all thanked everybody very nicely. County legislators, thank you very much for being here as well, and other dignitaries, so thank you again for that. Certainly, Marie and Dottie did a good job explaining the program and how it's going to benefit. I guess we're here to talk about what does it mean to a manufacturer. You know, we've been involved with the county as partners for a long period of time. We participate in the Pivot program, which has been successful for us. But I guess we're going to take that Pivot program and we're going to talk about it being on steroids, going to LiveWellErie development program and workforce program, and I think that's really where we're headed with this. So it's really important to us because we're looking to assist those individuals you've been talking about, right? Those individuals, we want to make sure they're coming to Rosina as good associates. We call our employees associates. And we also want to know that those same associates are going elsewhere. We're a manufacturer. We've been telling stories up here for the last half hour or so about what we need as a manufacturer here at Rosina. And we need people to come in. And we need people to come in, but we need people to stay. I know we got some folks here from an HR department that say, we can get the people in, we need to retrain them. How do we train them to stay here? How do we retain them? How we retain them is this program we're talking about right now, quite honestly. We need those people. By partnering with the county in hiring and training, employers like Rosina can support driven individuals to become, hopefully, set on a path for a career. That's what we want to see happen. We will have an opportunity to assist these individuals securing jobs, providing skills training and income growth, and once in these jobs, hopefully lifelong sustainable skills so they can stay in those jobs. That's what we're looking to do. That's what we need here at Rosina. And not only that, I think what I've heard from Dottie, especially from you, Marie, and County Executive, is the fact that you're looking to develop the life skills. You need to develop the life skills because those folks here will become leaders for manufacturers. And not only here at Rosina, but for other manufacturers. Those leaders here become leaders in their community, and they can become the example of what can be done through a program such as this. So we're really excited to be part of this program. The program is coming at a great time for Rosina. If you would all turn and look over that way, you're going to see a brand new facility that we put in place just last December. And the county has been we're very appreciative of what the county did for us to help build that facility as well. And one of the things that we need is we're up and running. The product is flowing out of there, so yes, we want them to come here so they can only make our product, but they can buy the product. But that thing's running very well, but we need people. We need people, we need skilled people, and the other thing is we have 2 other plants right here in town. There's one right across the street here. our pasta facility, we've got another plant in Cheektowaga, and we need people in those facilities as well as in our administrative staff. So it's really something that we're looking forward to participating in. I don't know exactly what way that'll be. I'm sure we're going to find that out. But through our HR department and others of us that work at Rosina, we're all in on that. So I really want to thank the county executive, all the other dignitaries that are here today, because I think with the upskills training we're talking about, the soft skills training, the life skills training that these associates will see, they'll be better community members as well. So I really thank you for that. I really appreciate the fact that this program is being announced here at Rosina, because I think as a representative of other manufacturers in this area, not even manufacturers, other employers here in the county, I think it's something that we'll all benefit from. So I thank you very much for that. Thank you for allowing us to participate, and we look forward to that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And so our last speaker will be Thomas Albrecht, President and CEO of Goodwill of Western New York.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. Goodwill is absolutely thrilled to participate in this important initiative. And what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the level of social innovation that's going on here that I think we may not all recognize, although it's been alluded to. The journey's complicated, as you've heard, to navigating these benefit cliffs. It remains one of the largest barriers to individuals seeking higher wages and career progression in Western New York. All too often, we label government agencies as being slow-moving Goliaths that resist change and innovation. Excuse me. This is not the case here. In fact, quite the opposite. This is the perfect example of government proactively working with employers and with community providers seeking creative solutions to the systemic challenge that everybody has just described. I want to commend County Executive Polenkars, Commissioner Cannon, and the entire team that we've been working with at the Department of Social Services, excuse me, to stand up the LiveWellErie pilot, which is really focused on reimagining social services, is the way I would describe it, in a way that empowers workers to mitigate the impact of these benefit cliffs on their journey to sustainable wages and benefits, and as Dottie said, much more than that. I like to refer to it as giving people the opportunity to have the opportunity for wealth creation, not just survival, but the ability to thrive. I want to talk a little bit about the innovation that you're seeing here today. LiveWellErie is an innovative program for social change. And having been involved from the beginning and working through the many iterations, it used a model focused on iterative learning and listening to the needs of our customers or the individuals that we serve. It doesn't assume that we have all the answers right today going out of the gate. The program is deliberately agile and flexible, allowing us to build or experiment, allowing us to measure carefully and look at the results we're getting, and learning and testing about some of the assumptions that we've made. But what's most important, it's about always listening, always learning, always fine-tuning. And in reality, it's lean social innovation, best practices in action. And I want to make sure we all recognize that here today. LiveWellErie de-risks the journey for participants as it provides that individualized support to the individual. And again, you've heard this described. It takes a holistic approach that goes beyond just job training by addressing the social determinants of health, with guidance from a diverse group of strategic partners that provide tools, coaching, and a multitude of supports that are matched to address the unique needs of every individual, which makes this a big lift. We have a big lift in front of us, but it's the customization and addressing those unique needs that makes us so unique. Most importantly to me, having been an employer myself in the past, having worked with businesses for many, many years before being at Goodwill, it recognized that employers are critical to the success and treated as equal partners at the table, working cooperatively to create the win-win scenario where employees are upskilled and given the opportunity to advance along a career path, and companies have the opportunity to develop and keep great people in this hyper-competitive job market. A report yesterday said there are 1.9 jobs open for every person that is looking for a job today in our country. Finally, You've heard this said before, but again, really, really important and really addressing how innovative this is on the county's part. It's also a win-win for taxpayers. As individuals expand their careers, reduce the needs for benefits, and add additional revenue to the economy. I'll close by saying once again, we're absolutely thrilled to be partners with all of you and a broad group of service providers that have helped launch LiveWellErie. We're thrilled to be working with these forward-thinking employers, and ultimately, we look forward to learning and again, to iterating, to working together and sharing best practices to build a scalable model of social innovation to address this important challenge in our community. And if we're successful, and we will be successful, that we can share across the country. So thank you.
Thank you to all. This is, as we noted, an innovative program that hopefully will be replicated elsewhere. It is going to take a couple of years to figure out through the data whether it made the difference, but I have a feeling it will because of the partnerships that we have and everyone working together to not only create a stronger economy, but give people a better life. With that, we'll open it up to the media if there's any questions on topic.
Yeah, so is transportation part of this program as well?
Yes. So the idea around the social determinants of health and being a comprehensive support program, it literally is anything a client will need to help them bridge help them bridge the benefit cliff and be able to maintain their employment. So it's childcare, it is food access, it is housing. I think somebody talked about it earlier. We've already been in conversation with NACA because they're low-income home ownership. We've been in conversation with some developers already who are looking to do affordable housing. So really it is comprehensive. And the life coach is the key to it, so they're going to be the ones who are in conversation with the clients, with the folks to see what the needs are. And then we have the funding to be able to support that. So it could be bus pass, it could be help with paying car insurance, because we've seen folks who might live in Akron but need to get here, but they were having trouble with paying car insurance. So it is really all the social determinants of health is what we're addressing. Thank you.
And I would just say that the people in the pilot are already working. So some of the things they've figured out, but it's really this barrier to get to the next big job, right? We're not opening this up for someone who's never,
Not yet.
Not yet. This
Yep.
initial pilot.
And so thank you. And the other piece, and I think, Tom, did you said that? John, I'm sorry, about the Pivot program. So we're actually leveraging our Pivot program, which is placing individuals in vital opportunity training program. And what that is so we have a client who is on public assistance, and we'll subsidize the wages for 6 months. So that's why some of the employers that have been identified out the gate, they've already been our partners. So we know that they support clients. We know they give our clients opportunity, making sure they have training. And so we're going to also continue to leverage that. So right now, it is really the underemployed who still need assistance with some kind of public assistance.
In talking about the hesitancy that a lot of people might have to join a program like this, for those that have agreed to join, what kind of feedback have you gotten?
They're terrified. I mean, we're going to be real honest about it, and that's why we really brought in the life coach piece, because that life coach, they'll be able to call almost any time. They're going to walk them through, and then being able to use the benefit calculator, so that person will know from a factual base. So when you get your next raise, this is what will happen, but here's what we're going to do. So that is one of the challenges around, people are afraid to take this leap because they've depended on it. It's dependable. And we're really saying, so you're gonna let this go that you might have known for most of your working life, or it could even be generations of it. And here we are, you're depending on, you have this faith in the support of the program, the employers, because remember, they need to stay employed. So that is some of the feedback. And when we did with UB, they actually are interviewing not only our staff from Department of Social Services, because we want to make sure what is needed to support our staff. And I have to give a shout out to our staff here, Jackie Hall, Amy Dvorak, Sandy, and Donna. I mean, they've been phenomenal with really walking through the details of the program. So UB did you call it a focus group? We're focus group with participants and they'll do a focus group with employers, because we really want to say, what are the barriers? Did we miss anything? And we've already started conversations like with our faith leaders to say, here's this program we're putting out here. And I will tell you the reason why we started with faith leaders, because that's a built-in community, to your point, so that their pastor and their community can help support and walk them through it. And then we just said, so you have a community that you can be able to take. It really is a leap of faith. So UB is looking at that. They're doing an evaluation at the beginning of this, the participants, the employers, our staff, and partners, and then we'll see at the end. And so we're looking at hope, things like what's the motivation? What is it that you need to be successful? But what are the barriers? Because we're really saying, let's knock down every barrier, because we want you to be successful. At the end of the day, we want people to be able to move to their full potential. We really, like in our heart of heart, really want that to happen. And so we've looked at this as take everything away, everything possible that we can think of, and then what's also in our control to help people be successful. Because we know people want to be successful. They want to be able to take promotions, but they also are making the decisions based on the fact. So if I get a $40 raise, but that means I might lose $300 in food stamps. That's not an equation that makes sense for none of us. So thank you for that question.
How many people are in the pilot program?
So right, our goal is to get up to 200. We've identified 20 so far. And so we have some goals, so we're looking at another set of 25. But right now we're at 20. We want to make sure that it works and that we have the kinks out. But our goal is to get up to 200, between 125 to 200 people over the 2-year period.
And that's, that you have to also think that often is families. It's not
Right.
just the one individual.
Right.
It is their child who may be the one that's also receiving the child care subsidy. The individual could be taking care of an older adult, one of their parents or grandparents at home. So the more that we can do is going to strengthen these families. I do want to note, I failed to mention his appearance here. Someone who's worked very hard on this issue with the Commissioner is our chair of the Erie County Poverty Committee, and that's Dr. Reverend Kaiser Pointer. And I thank him for his service and understanding the importance of this program and advocating for the strengthening of all families. And I will note that Marie needs to open up, because she doesn't talk about these programs enough. We could be here for hours.
Right, so you better stop me.
Yeah. So, but we certainly willing to entertain other questions, but I do want to thank her and her team, because they are really, really enthused about this program and what it can mean for not just one person's life, but the family around them. So we're hopeful that this will have a positive difference for hundreds and hundreds of our fellow community members.
What are some of the types of jobs that are included at the moment?
Well, it's not so much types of jobs. It really, the issue is associated with the salaries that they're making, and how the salary does not in itself support them, so that they could then at that point leave the public sector's assistance programs. There's all kinds of jobs, and theoretically any job qualifies. It's just a matter of getting the individual from a position where they're making wages that do not allow them to live their best life possible, so that they have to rely on these programs. But once they get to a certain salary, they can walk away. They no longer need to be on public assistance. And for some of them, it's partial public assistance. It's not 100% public assistance, depending on all the programs that are available. So I don't want it to be thought of as job-based. It could be a job in the manufacturing sector. It could be a job in the retail sector. It could be a job in the healthcare sector. There's a lot of individuals that work in the healthcare sector that are not paid the highest wages, and therefore still need to receive assistance from the county through the various programs that we have. So it's not so much based on the job the person's working in, it's based on the dollars and cents that they're making associated with that job, so that they can get the training that they need, the educational skills, the life skills, so that they're no longer making $15 an hour, but they're making $25 an hour. But that problem is the area in between.
Right.
the $15 and the $25 an hour, where they can't get the $25 an hour unless they give up the programs that they need to survive. And so that's what this program really is about. It's about getting these individuals into higher paying jobs and having a lasting career so that they no longer need to be reliant on these public assistance programs. And what we believe is when you look at it, if someone, let's say, has 25 years left in their career, you'd much rather have them reaching their full potential over the 25 years than them stuck at a level where for the next 25 years, then we have to provide public assistance and pay for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more associated with that one household than if we can get them over the cliff and then they're self-sufficient.
Mark, I just have one thing
Why don't
to
you just,
say.
right up here, Dottie, so the media can.
The other thing is that it's not any single salary, right? Because it depends how many children you have. What are their ages? That's why this is such a big challenge to solve, because every situation is unique. And I want to commend Marie again that taking a people-centered approach with employers saying, you know, $17 might be enough for a single person, but it's not enough for someone who has children. So it's a very dynamic challenge.
You mentioned that there was pressure on this program to be successful. How were applicants selected?
Well, one, they're already receiving public assistance, and we have what we call employment counselors who are already working with clients around their career. So we identify those who have been successful already because they're right now ready. And so it is, so when I say pressure about being successful, part of it is, I mean, yes, it is an investment of public dollars. I always keep that on the back of my mind about what's the responsible, accountable way that we use those dollars. But there are, I think from a departmental standpoint, the pressure of, let's get this right so that it matters to people's lives, that we really are setting them on, helping to set them on a track to be successful. So it is our internal, we're high level, competitive, type A. We are committed to ensuring that we do what is right for, we are. Mark knows it. I'm like, what? Somebody else is doing something, we can do it better. But it really is about, can we make a difference in the lives of our brothers and sisters in our community? And that's our commitment. So that's the pressure we put on ourselves. And then we also understand the pressure of when I'm gonna say that, when we get this right, it also means that there's opportunity to scale it up. And just give you an example, I talked about the Pivot program. It actually has been identified through the Ways and Means Committee in our Senate. My staff actually went to DC to present on it. And it really was one of the promising practices of helping people move to self-sufficiency. So we're taking that, leveraging it, and saying, let's build this to scale so that we really can have, as Mark said, the upfront investment so that we have savings on the end. But the pressure is, we want to get this right because it matters to folks. It matters to a little Johnny. It matters to a mom. It matters. So that's the pressure.
Thank you, everyone. If there's any off-topic questions from media, we'll take those to the side, but I appreciate everyone being here today. Once again, thank you to our.
Shameless plug in. I'm sorry.
See, type A personality. You get her and Deputy County Executive White in a room, and good things happen. And Dottie's a type A. That shouldn't work for you.
Just here's the call to action. So if we have any employers that, shameless plug, any employers that are interested in joining us, please email Amy Dvorak. She knows that she's going to be on the email, amy.dvorak@erie.gov. So we are looking for additional employers. So please, that would be my shameless plug of call to action. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, John, Tom, Dottie, everyone for being here. Once again, thank you to Rosina for hosting us. And this is a beautiful facility, and I can't wait to see the further growth from the company, and we're going to get you more employees. I guarantee it. Thanks, everyone. No pressure. Now you got to get more employees.